All right, well, we survived the deep freeze last night. We've got power, so let's make some pudding. I got a cup of milk right here, which I'm gonna add a yolk to. So the way that I like to separate them is to throw this guy over here, and then I'll just like slosh it back and forth in my hands until the whites sort of fall through. And then you can drop your yolk in just like that. And now I need to get some pre-boiled water to wash my hands with. We're still on a boil notice. Okay, there we go. Okay, so once you've got your yolk and your milk, just whisk those guys together. Okay. Now I'm gonna move this aside. Then we've got our medium saucepan here. Get this out of here, gross. I'm gonna add 5 tablespoons of sugar, 5 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, pinch of salt. Oh my god, there's no salt in here. And a pinch of salt. Maybe like a nice big pinch. So we're gonna whisk this together to get it all nice and combined. So now I'm gonna whisk in the egg and yolk mixture. Okay, so you just want it to be as smooth as you can get it, which this is looking pretty smooth. All right, then we're gonna take it over to the stove. Okay, so now we're gonna move over our, we've been boiling water. So move that, and then we'll bring this over to the stove. Make sure it's nice. We're gonna put it on a medium-low heat. We're just gonna make sure this guy's nice and stirred. But then I wanna get rid of the whisk and start using an actual spatula. So basically I'm gonna keep on stirring this, constantly scraping the sides and the bottom. I'm just gonna do this until it starts bubbling. So this should start bubbling, and then as I stir it, it'll get thick and creamy. It definitely seems like it's getting thinner, but you know, I don't know how to cook, so. Still waiting on them bubbles. I'm starting to get some smoke here. I think it might have some bubbles soon. Starting to get some thick bits. I don't know if that's good. It's definitely getting thicker now. Still not seeing any bubbles. There, now it's getting really thick. I wonder if there's just not going to be bubbles. Should I just not expect to see bubbles? Where are the bubbles? Where are the bubbles? There should definitely be bubbles now, right? I just don't know bubbles are going to happen. I just don't expect to see bubbles in this now. Like, this is really thick. I'm getting really nervous about this. I have a feeling this is done. I mean, look at it. It's pudding. It's pudding already. Okay, you know what? I don't think there's going to be bubbles. Let's call that pudding. Let's do that. Okay, let's move on to the next step. Okay, so now that we've got our pudding off the stove, I'm just going to spoon some of it into these ramekins. All right, that looks pretty even. So the next thing we're going to do is cover it with plastic wrap. So you want to make sure you push the plastic down on top of the pudding, so that'll help keep it from getting a little film while it cools. Okay, so let's get these guys chilling. All right, and then I just set those guys outside, and in an hour or so, they should be ready to go. Oh, hold on. Okay, wait, let's bring these back in. So the recipe says to add a teaspoon of vanilla before you take it off the stove, but I got so distracted looking for bubbles that I skipped that part. So I'm just gonna add the vanilla now and just split it between these two. Okay, now we'll put them back out. When you're just about ready to serve, throw some raspberries in a bowl. I got like 4 of them here. And add about a half a teaspoon of sugar, and then take a fork and just like smash all that stuff together. So this will get them to macerate. Macerate? It's macerate. It gets all the juice out. So let's let that go for a bit. We've got about a 1/3 cup of heavy cream. Then I'm gonna add a half teaspoon of vanilla and a half teaspoon of sugar. Now I'm going to whisk until I get some peaks going here. You know what? Let's put this in a bowl. This seems bad. Barely anything in there. So we're looking for medium peaks. And I think I'm gonna call that medium peaks. That's medium peaks. Those peaks are so medium. It's unbelievable. See if I can get as much of this off of here, because I'm not going to let it go to waste after all that work. So once you've got your medium peaks, we're going to add our macerated raspberries. And we're just gonna fold it a couple times here just to get it a little streaky, I think is what we're after. Now let's get that pudding and see if it's pudding. All right, so there is our pudding from outside. It's been sitting out there for 4 or 5 hours. It looks pretty pudding-like. A little dollop of whip on top. Splat. Splat. Oh. Dang it. Dropped it on the counter. A few extra raspberries on top. Plap, plap. Boop, 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 boop. Too many's good. All right. Well, they definitely don't look pretty, but that's not what's important, is it? So let's take a bite here. One of these raspberries. Okay. Okay. It's actually really good. Okay, cool. Well, good. It was all worth it then. Okay. Well, I'm gonna give this other one to Emily. But I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow.